Go. Hello! Broadcasting live from the catacombs deep beneath the empty Wallet Game offices. I'm Spiderduck writer Greg, and with me is a co-host. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everybody, this is your co-host with the mo-host, Jeremy. How's it going out there? I'm in the underground bunker next to it.
Actually going pretty cold since we're on, looks like the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy here. You need heat, also air.
I don't know, Scrooge actually doing pretty well for being on the moon.
Wonder how he does that. Maybe we'll find out in some later recording.
Actually, considering this is a universe where everything takes place on one continent.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Has anybody else noticed that Scrooge's nephews only come in two colors? There's a red one and two green ones. Somewhere we lost Dewey.
I think the blue one appears in the Amazon. He's the one that tells you that there are bosses in the game.
Okay. Because I was just noticing, he doesn't appear in the stage select at all. I guess the color palette just didn't allow. Okay, now these guys look awesome. It's just little fat guys with blue vests. Now,
they're
most
actually,
of the other... Go ahead.
It's like the 6th episode of the cartoon series. They're filming a TV show, and it happens to take place on a real spaceship. So they go into space and meet guys that were then used as sprites for the stage.
Because I remember that a lot of the other, enemies and settings from the other stages often reference the show pretty closely, so I was just wondering if this was based on anything. Yeah, I guess that's an episode I never saw. Alright, so, as we have noticed, this is the inside of the spaceship. You want to give us a quick little intro about what makes this stage unique, Golemio? Okay.
Well, this is, in the NES version, the second stage. Or no, this is the first stage where collecting is mandatory. Where you need to walk around, suss out a maze in order to collect the pieces, in order to... Yeah, there's a sequence of items you need to get in order to open the passage that the nephew was telling us about below.
That would be the remote control and a key, right?
There's a key to get to the remote control.
Ah, yes.
And it's kind of what the entire game has been pointing to, in that, the Amazon was linear. The mines had, shortcuts as extra paths. The Himalayas had some extra paths where you could get lost. And then this stage is just full on, you're supposed to get lost and figure out how to get through a maze.
Yeah, the spaceship is one great big ovaloid just maze. It's perfect, really. I especially like this section of the map because you literally climb on top of it, and you go out into space, bouncing off of these enemies. Like, you're actually out in the void, just hunting for treasure.
Yeah, you,
I thought that was...
if you hang out here long enough, Sandra Bullock passes by.
Ouch.
That's really gonna date this.
How did you do that? Oh, you yourself get hit by that spot back there.
Oh, yeah. I'm not the best at pogoing. In the NES version, that's an extra treasure, but I think that's where, in Remastered, one of the gyro pieces is, so you're required to go there.
Yep. Must be an expensive game. Sorry, I can't resist. Like the rest of the internet, I just love that song. What about the little August? Are they in the show?
Maybe. I really just remember the pink guys.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting that while this is the most interesting involved map, it has the least interesting involved enemies.
I know, the enemies are just secondary. They're just there to fill space, I guess.
Yeah.
There's almost no threat whatsoever. Now, one of the things I probably should have mentioned while you were down there was, in that room you just left, there's a rope that leads right back to the beginning of the stage. I don't know what that would be for. I always thought that was just extra. I mean, is there any reason why you would ever go down that rope?
Near the beginning of this stage, I hopped on the robot duck guys to get to 2 treasure chests. You're supposed to use that to get to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the little Zarducks floating by, you don't really need to do that. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. I wonder if anybody ever bothered to do that.
No, because it's a way slower way to do it.
You know, even though this game is a classic on the NES, sometimes it seems like they made a few developmental oversights in some of the levels. Like maybe they rushed the job towards the end, like just here.
You mean the...
Like they could have made it a little bit more challenging, or they defeated some of their own challenges, that being a good example. Okay, you got the key.
Oh, it's the key to the UFO. I like that some of their challenges are undermined. I think that's a hallmark of NES design, and I like it when games are more open-ended and allow me to solve the problem as opposed to... one thing I don't enjoy about Remastered is that like, the gameplay is very dictated, and there's one way to do everything. Also, this guy's having a bad day.
I know. You're gonna see that happen at least once every time you play through this level.
It's... Well, I guess you were just talking about design oversights, and,
Yeah.
respawning games in this enemy... wow.
Spawning enemies in this game.
Yes. If you leave them on screen, they won't respawn, so oftentimes the easiest way to get through a situation is to attack something. I like how this stage opens up based on the ropes. You'll climb up into a new room, and you can either go right, left, or up. Makes things really easy to remember.
Right there. With Miss Beakley.
Yeah, I didn't know about this until I looked up an online map.
When I played this, I had Nintendo Power at my side helping figure out this map. Sometimes I wonder how I'd have done if I'd have had to figure it out on my own. It's just something I never had to do as a kid. So, like, for example, I wonder if I would have known that the key would have gotten me through that door. I mean, I wonder if I'd have even known that I was supposed to have been finding a key in a remote control. How long would that have taken me to figure out? I mean, what about you? Did you use a walkthrough when you first played this, or what?
I first played it this year in preparation for Remastered.
Did you know what you were looking for in this? Did you find it? What was it like?
I didn't even know I was looking for anything. I just found a key, and then I found a remote controller, and I had nowhere else to go, so I went and blasted open the wall. So I kind of did it the backwards way from what the game expected.
And it didn't, it didn't confuse you or anything? You weren't really lost for any significant period of time?
No, I never really got lost in space. But...
And he just... I know, right? I mean, Fenton Crackshell's an idiot, but geez, did you just have to let him die?
Hey, he did that himself.
I know, right?
I feel like you would have definitely figured it out so long as you could read.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's actually,
Why are there Beagle Boys on the moon? This makes no sense. What are they doing here?
I also think the cartoon only had like 3 Beagle Boys. Am I wrong?
Let's see, you had, Burger. You had the one that sounded like Curly from the Three Stooges. You had the one with the really gruff voice. You had Ma Beagle. Let's see.
I always just remember there being 3 of them.
Maybe. And the green cheese of longevity.
Yeah.
Does it ever explain anywhere else except in the manual that that's supposed to be something that lets you live forever?
They say it in Remastered, but not in the game, no. Oh, all land clear. Time to throw out these.
Apparently Scrooge keeps his treasures inside his computer. Also, that is one ridiculously intricate and complicated computer.
Well, that's what they had to use back in the days.
I mean, that's like Windows 1.0. That's the
Did it ever bother you that you couldn't go all the way left at the beginning of Transylvania?
It did, actually. It seemed like there should have been something there.
Yeah, what the frig?
It was
anyway,
like the first door in Super Mario Brothers 2 that you fall out of. I always wished there was some way to hack the games that you could go into that door.
It would probably just make the game crash, but yeah, I always tried to get into it too.
Alrighty, well, that wraps it up for part 1. Now, we've seen the baseline. Now, the very thought of what WayForward did when they took that basic, raw material and remastered it, thought's kind of scary. Let's move on, shall we?
Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.